name is Julie, and it is Menopause Monday. Why? Because it's Monday. So, Mondays, I need to put another jump ring on this. Mondays are when we talk, excuse me, about menopause and everything leading up to menopause, during menopause, and thereafter. So it can be anything from menstrual cycle, when that begins. For me, that was at 11 years old. And back then, actually, that was really rare to start that early. Now that's actually far more common. Hi, Vicki. Yes, I will get to that in a moment. Thank you, my love. I am just finishing getting ready. I did not choose, what's it called? Solitaire over you guys this time. Rather, I chose TikTok. Not entirely. So I did finally stop the TikTok consumption 15 minutes ago, but I had hoped to have my whole face done and everything before we got together. That did not happen, but I did at least have my pink shirt on. So, hi, Alyssa. Thanks for being here. All right, we will, you know what? I'm Vicki. I'm going to go ahead and do the subscribers only. And then we can do, wait a minute, not that. Then we can work on makeup together. Subscribers and 20 minutes. Okay, subscribers only. So it is Monday. Hi, Holly. Thanks for being here. And we are going to do a little bit of makeup together because it's about damn time. And I really did mean to have this done before the live stream, but as I was just, and I even meant to have my nails done. But as I was just saying, I got on TikTok for the first time in weeks and came across, oh my Lord, I came across this guy. I can't remember what his name was or even what his handle on TikTok was, but my God. So then of course I had to message my sister and then I had to follow the guy and then watch everything he's put out. Well, okay, I finally did stop because I'm like, oh my God, it's time. So there's this guy. I believe oh yes, Alyssa, I did. So for Lab Brockington, Bonnie, one of our moderators, had accidentally pushed the block or hide or whatever button during a live stream the other day. And so Lab, I am so sorry that happened. Bonnie is so sorry that happened. It was absolutely an accident. I did go in on my end on the laptop into YouTube. It took a little bit to figure out how to do it, but I did find that situation and took care of it. So Lab, if you still want to, I hope you want to, be in the comments. Guys, I'm on a live stream. Let's fight later. Teenagers. Anyway, Lab, we would love to have you in the comments again. It was an accident. These things unfortunately do happen. And I know Bonnie feels so bad about it, but it is fixed. It is fixed. Hi, Melinda. Thanks for being here. So I put some eye primer on. It is just my Walmart ELF stuff. I've told you guys before, I've tried several different ones and more expensive ones, whatever. And they just did not work as well as the ELF kind. So anyhow, hi, Shatika. I was on the YouTube, or not the YouTubes, the TikToks for the first time in days. And yeah, found this guy. He's actually a tattoo artist out in, I think it was Pennsylvania somewhere. Anyway, gorgeous man, beautiful man. Yes, I'm married. I'm not blind. So anyhow, my sister is not married. So of course I had to send her, you know, some of the stuff and joke and laugh with her. So anyway, we're going to let that set in. We're going to let that set in, and the eye primer. And I do very, very little makeup. If I'm going to do makeup, which you guys know is rare. But yeah, I do want to have my makeup done for Menopause Mondays, though. Because it does always make me feel better. It does, but I just rarely do it. Because it takes time. It takes time to put it on, and then it takes time to clean it off at night, and I generally just don't want to. I don't want to. And I don't live a life right now where it is like a necessity or important enough to me to do it. Which, it is what it is. But we do need to try out, or not try out, well, yeah, try out this eyeliner that I bought because I ran out of the other kind, and I am trying to find dupes. Now that went. Trying to find dupes to some of my favorite Mary Kay stuff. I did just recently find another dupe, but I'll have to do a video about that at some point because it was awesome. It is awesome finding stuff because I don't want to use or support Mary Kay products, company, whatever anymore. I was a Mary Kay, like I'm using up seriously like the last of my Mary Kay stuff, making it last forever and ever. Number one, they are way too expensive. Like they are way too expensive. And the reason that they're so expensive is because they are a multi-level marketing company. And you have to work into the price. You have to work in the commission that has to be paid to the whole like upline of consultants. Sorry, you're not going to see fancy stuff happening like you see on all the TikToks and the Instagrams because I don't do that. I don't. There was a time, well, obviously while I was a Mary Kay consultant, there was a time that I would do like the full face of makeup fairly often. And then before that, when I worked at Walmart in the cell phones, back in the old days, it was done quite a bit differently than now. Anyway, and I would do a full face of makeup and do my hair every day and all of that. I don't live a life where that makes much sense when I'm, you know, often gardening and, you know, housekeeping and stuff like that. It's just not conducive. Anyhow, we'll do the rest of that in a bit. But we are almost 10 minutes in. I was going to wait till 10 minutes, but I'm not going to. I have, over here in my mess, I have my coffee on the warmer. Why do I have my coffee on the warmer? Because I want to, us together, use the last of my Seattle imported Southern Butter Pecan that, yes, I brought all the way from Seattle, Washington to here in Utah, all along a road trip, in and out of little mini refrigerators and hotel rooms, and then in my cooler and whatever. And we are going to have it together right now because I did finish all of the necessary trimming and deadheading in the front yard. Hi, Bonnie. I fixed the situation for Lab, Bonnie. So there are still weeds to pull and soil to put in and all that blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. That part, that will happen after this heat wave comes and goes. But the requirement for enjoying the last little bit of this Southern Butter Pecan was the deadheading and the Chelsea chop, the big chop of everything in the front yard. Hi, Renee. Renee, I am doing really well today. I am doing really, really well. So, oh, like a fine wine, the bouquet. Oh. Hi, Pamela. You're not late at all. We've only been on for 10 minutes. Oh, hell, we'll just use all of it. Okay. I earned this. I earned it. Oh my God. Oh, that is good. That is good. Oh, thank you, Pamela. It is one of the new pink shirts that I bought. So that we have pink shirts on Menopause Monday. Anyway, so I am working on finding dupes for Mary Kay products that I have loved forever and ever. If you happen to know of a really good facial highlighting pen, let me know. If you happen to know of a really good targeted action line reducer, please let me know. Because I am down to like the very last of what I have from my Mary Kay days. I was a consultant, independent consultant for, geez, I think like 8 years. So, which specific L'Oreal eye stuff, Renee, do you know? Okay. So one of the ones that I'm working on is the Hi Lab. I don't know if you heard everything we were talking about. I went ahead and fixed the chat situation. Bonnie wanted to profusely apologize to you that she had accidentally bumped your name in the live stream chat a couple days ago and had accidentally blocked you, and she kept begging and pleading with me, please fix it. And I was able to fix it last night. So glad that you are here with us. So anyway, so I'm trying to find a dupe for the eyeliner that I loved. It was the deep brown and it was a twist up. And so what we're trying today is the Rimmel Exaggerate Waterproof Eye Definer. And this one includes a little smudger. So I'm really excited about this. Hi, Galaxy Gato. Welcome back. So one of the things about this is, like with the Mary Kay one that I had. Oh, good. Lab, I'm so glad. I know Bonnie will be happy to see that. If I like didn't use eye primer, and sometimes even if I did use eye primer, which was the Mary Kay eye primer, and I have found the e.l.f. primer to be way better, so that's not one that I need a dupe of. But the Mary Kay eyeliner would always end up, down here. Because cheeks. And I'm so grateful for these cheeks, and I love these cheeks. But they were like the bane of my makeup existence until I finally found a really good eye primer. Anyway, so the eyeliner that I had with Mary Kay was not the problem, really. It was more that I didn't have a good eye primer and had these cheeks. And so it would end up down here. But otherwise, I really enjoyed that eyeliner. But something I'm excited about with this Rimmel one is that it is waterproof. And so I am hoping that that will help. Hi, Liz. With the, the situation, like between the eye primer and this, maybe I don't know. Anywho, it is Menopause Monday, and we are doing a little bit of makeup because I want to be doing that for our Menopause Mondays. Not necessarily put it on together all the time, but have makeup on for Menopause Mondays. But we are also celebrating, if you missed it, we are celebrating with the last of the Seattle imported Southern Butter Pecan. Oh my God, that's so good. Because I did finish all of the deadheading and the major Chelsea chop out in the front yard in the gardens. There is still weeding to do and soil to put in and all that kind of stuff. But we did do the chop and the deadheading, and so I'm super happy. I did even start working on the topiaries, which were not part of my requirement in the first place, but I was out last night or the night before, hi Rita, and decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and work on these a little bit. And my hands did not work for some time, and so that was frustrating. I need to get out my hedge trimmer and use that. But there's something so satisfying about using clippers and doing it yourself. But I think it is time at this point to switch over to just using the hedge trimmer. I have it. I should just use it. Anyway, so we're going to try out the Rimmel eyeliner. We'll see if I can do this with just the phone. Oh, nope. Also, as you know, I do have severe arthritis. Luckily, it has a smudger, so maybe we'll be able to fix it. It just might have to be thicker than I had wanted. Ooh, some's already getting on down here. Well, then I guess that means we're going to put it on down here. It sure does glide. Ooh, glides a little too easily for my unsteady hands. But I do like that it glides and I don't have to apply like any force. Okay. This other side I might have to do with the mirror. I'm going to have to do it with the mirror. Anyway, how are we today? I was thinking of a couple of things to talk about with it being Menopause Monday. And what I came up with is, are we there yet? Ooh, this one glides really nice onto the water line. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Way thicker than I want, but that's okay. We're also going to try the smudger. Yeah, I really like that. Ooh, that is nice. It glides. It glides beautifully. But now, we're going to smudge just a little bit because my hands are way unsteady. Oh, thank you, Rita. So we're just going to smudge this a little bit to try to make up for my poor unsteady hands. Hi, Phyllis. Thanks for being here. There's just like one little spot. Good enough. Okay. I like that little smudger too. That's nice. So, are we there yet? And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is a few things. So for those that are going through regular, natural menopause, you are going to have a very different experience than my experience. Because my experience is forced menopause. I had a partial hysterectomy several years ago, and then this is the Mary Kay mineral powder in Ivory 2. I would also like to find a, what do you call it? A dupe. God damn. I would like to find a dupe of this as well. But luckily, I have a whole other thing of it because I really do hardly ever use makeup. And so I have plenty of the mineral, but I would like to find a dupe of it eventually. The only thing I don't like about the mineral powder is how messy it is, because it is messy. I am not doing my eyebrows today. So I need to get new stuff for them, but I'll try to have them done next time. And I am not doing eyeshadow. That is something I hardly ever wear. But I do want to play with some eyeshadow at some point here soon, because I do have a lot of it. I just don't use it. Yeah, I really like e.l.f. Like I was saying, I use the e.l.f. Eye primer, and I find that it is so much better and more effective than the many other eye primers that I tried. So now we're going to use my voluminous base, and it's just a eyelash primer, which also was a revelation for me. As I was talking about, it used to be a huge thing for me. If I would wear makeup, I was constantly having to, blot under my eyes because cheeks and everything would just end up down here, until I found the e.l.f. eye primer. Works amazingly. Oh, Holly, I feel you. My endometriosis has actually come back, which a lot of people don't realize that, yeah, it comes back. It doesn't always, no guarantee, but yes, it can absolutely come back after full hysterectomy. So anyway, I had a partial hysterectomy years and years ago, and then I finished it all up just a couple years ago, getting the last of all my bits taken out. I have nothing left. Nothing. No ovaries, no nothing. And it has been a journey. So what do I mean by, are we there yet? Well, if you are going through regular menopause, then I bet there are times, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, I bet there are times when you're like, are we there yet? Is this done yet? Are we there? And then for me, it's a different situation. My are we there yet is, are we done with all of these leftovers, if you will, these leftovers of the menstrual cycle that are being perpetuated, continued by the other hormone producing glands in our body, like the hypothalamus, the thyroid, the pituitary. So gratefully, the cramps have stopped. I've been done with the cramps, knock on wood. Hopefully they never come back. But I have been done with the cramps for many, many months. Many, many months. But as I was talking about the other week, I am not apparently done with PMS. So what I would like to know is if you are going through natural menopause, perimenopause, then menopause, or you already have, when did the PMS finally stop? Or has it? And what I mean by that is, oh God, that's so good. The monthly struggle of hormones and emotions and libido and where the hell did the mascara go? Did I drop that too? I think I did. But if so, where did I drop it? Oh, no, there it is. Yay. Has all that stopped for you? And if it has, awesome. What else are you currently feeling, experiencing? And then and what was it like for you? If, like me, you went through forced menopause, or even if you went through normal menopause and you still get those feelings, those struggles, those whatever, how do you manage it? Does it come regularly? Is it monthly? Is it still on a sort of 28-day cycle? Was it ever on a 20-day regular cycle when you still had all your parts? Or pre-menopause, was your cycle ever actually regular? And how has that carried over in any, residual PMS? Let me know. I want to know. I might need the mirror for this too. Hold on. Careful. God. I really need to clean up my desk. Like I really, really, really need to clean up my desk. One thing at a time. I'm still finishing the pantry. Ooh, that is nice. That is pleasant. This is the L'Oreal Voluminous with a curved brush in a black brown. Unfortunately, it is not waterproof because I on accident bought the not waterproof, which you can see right away. That causes a little bit of issue. But hopefully, between the eye primer and the eyelash primer, hopefully that keeps it on and not all over under my eyes. Ah! Oh, shit. What are you laughing about up there?
Reels.
Oh. Okay. Good enough. So, for me, the the PMS, there we go. The PMS was pretty rough my whole life. It was rough. And then, looks like this guy needs to be plugged in again. Periods in general, period, were rough. And I've come to realize, much too late, that a lot of it was most likely because of endometriosis that I didn't know I had, and something that I honestly didn't even understand or know what it was until just a few years ago. Yeah. So it was no surprise to me. It is no surprise to me that there we go. And that is the makeup. Oh, fine. We'll put on some lip gloss. I didn't know what that really was. But anyhow, yeah, not a huge shocker. It's pretty pink. Not a huge shocker that it has also been unreliable and uncomfortable and painful and frustrating post forced menopause. Yeah, I'm glad I'm doing lip gloss. It's worth it. Who remembers the late 90s, early 2000s when lip gloss was like in its prime? It was everything. Lip gloss. And you would put it on like 100 times a day, and everything was about being juicy and like moist. Those were the days. Those were the days. Now I'm wishing I had done my eyebrows. But the stuff that I was using, this shows you how little I actually do my makeup. This stuff that I bought, which I really, really like, I'm going to have to buy more of it unless you guys can help me come up with a way to salvage it. But it was this little kit that comes with this little brush and this brow thing that, ew. What is it? Milani Soft Brown Stay Put Brow Color. And I love this stuff, but it is completely dried. Like dried out. And I highly doubt it's any good anymore. Or even safe anymore. Yeah. So, I need to get some more of that. Yeah, I don't think it can be salvaged. I don't think it would be safe to salvage it. But anyhow, Luster Light. That's what this is called. Ludicrous Luster Light. Found it brand new, unopened, dumpster diving. How about that? So, and also I will sometimes do like a bronzer or blush or whatever. That's not happening today. But we did what we did, and I'm glad we did what we did because it does feel good. It does. It feels good. So anyhow, okay. So I never had good regular periods other than when I would take the pill form of birth control. That did help quite a bit with my cycle. It still was never perfect. I do recall that it maybe eased up the cramping and the, discomfort and all that a little bit. Not perfect, but a little bit. Holly, why didn't you get the yummy kind? There were so many yummy lip glosses. So many yummy lip glosses. We had loads. Ooh, that's a good light. We had loads of options in those late 90s, early 2000s. And there was yummy kind. There was tasty kind. And then you'd like, and then of course you'd have to put more because you'd be licking it all off. And then if you were like making out and stuff, Yeah. You felt like me, that with the lip gloss, it was kind of this come hither kind of a feeling with the right juicy lips. Yeah. I made out a lot. I was a maker outer. Yeah. I did other stuff too, but more often it was making out. Yeah. Anyway, so I never had regular periods, regular cycles, and the pain was horrific. So I want to know, and I don't know that anyone can actually answer this for me, when the residual post-forced menopause PMS will be done for good. I would really like to know. So I had not dealt with it in months. And then, as I was telling you guys recently, this was when we had just gotten back from the road trip, where, of course, I imported this from, which we are now enjoying in today's coffee, because I did enough out in the yard to have earned it. More to do, but we've earned that and we're enjoying it. Anyway, when we got home, I was feeling pretty awful. And a lot of it was like pain and fatigue and, road trip lag. But then it wasn't getting better. And I was starting to feel more and more like kind of crazy. Losing my brains, whatever, which used to happen to me a lot with my regular like menstrual cycle and period and all of that, because it was so irregular that it would start showing up again and you're like, what is this? What's going on? Why do I want to drive off the bridge? And invariably then you'd start bleeding and realize, oh, okay, I'm not any more crazy than normal. It's hormones, and here's my period showing up. Well, that's what ended up happening, but I was losing my mind, because I'm like, do I need to go to the doctor? Do I need some kind of, some medication situations and what have you? To then finally have one of the girls say, oh, it's that time of the month, and me be like, oh, that's what this is. That's what wanting certain treats, having a lot of arousal and somewhat uncomfortable arousal, and we'll talk about that on another Menopause Monday, being irritable, extra depressed, pits of despair, all of that. And it was like, oh, that old chestnut. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. When you wear like the gloss, you gotta, not with this color, not a big deal, but if you're gonna wear anything more like da 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 and like really tinted and stuff, you gotta make sure that you're checking your teeth. So anyhow, it showed back up. And I had been under the assumption that we were there. We were done. That part was done. Because it had been months. It had been months since I had to feel that, go through that. I really like this eyeliner. It went on so smooth. Unfortunately, my hands are all da-da-da-da. It would look better even if my hands were like still steady, but they're not. But the smudger comes in handy, and you just end up having to do it a little thicker than usual. Or I did. And I'm fine with that. But anyhow, it came back. The PMS showed up again. When is it going to end? When will I go through it again? If we're not done, which I don't know if we are done. Because like I said, I had thought, I'm going to try some makeup setting spray. I don't usually use this, but extends makeup wear for up to 16 hours. Helps prevent makeup from melting or fading. Ooh. Yeah. We'll give this a try. I'm kind of nervous. Hold on. Does it work? Oh, it smells like hairspray. I've never used it before. we'll see how it works, because I'm going to be out and about this evening, coming and going. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, because I am the kind that ends up melty, if I wear any makeup. And so I'm interested to see if this works. I'm glad we went ahead and tried it, because I just don't like that it smells like hairspray. All right, anyway, I don't know if we're there yet, especially for myself. I don't know, because, like I said, I had thought we were done with the postmenopausal surprises. No, it came back. And then not only that, there have been other developments that we'll talk more about, like something that I like to call hyperarousal, which I'm going to have to be really careful how I talk about it, or get like a sponsor or something, because I don't know how to talk about it and still be monetized, because you're talking about the vagina, you're talking about clitoral stimulation to the point that it can be painful. And there is a condition, I can't remember, I had been researching it a little bit, thinking about it, wanted to talk about it. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, there's like an acronym for it. But that was not the case for me. For me, it was postmenopausal, a hyper stimulation, arousal, whatever, that just pops up whenever it feels like it and can be very painful. Not sexy, not romantic, not enjoyable, not pleasant, not nothing. Really painful. And I will be talking to my gynecologist about it. But it's not like, because people say, oh, that's a syndrome or a thing that can happen to people. Yeah, that's different, in my opinion and in my experience, because it is not something I experienced that I can recall before hysterectomy, before forced menopause. So if you have any experience with anything like that and want to contribute to what might end up being a recorded video, hopefully with a sponsor, because most likely it will not be monetized, I would love to hear your stories, and you can share anonymously. All right, let's go back to our comments and let's catch up. Thanks for your patience, guys. Renee, track prize L'Oreal Paris Revitalift Triple Power. I will look into that. Phyllis, Kitty is doing great. She is outside enjoying the warm day. I found some good stuff from TikTok, Renee. They can come in really handy. Some of the things that you can find there. Liquid eyeliner. No. I do not dare. I do not dare. You saw how unsteady I was with just roll on or twist up soft eyeliner. Can you imagine me with, like, I tried it one time. Now, of course, this was when I was a teenager and had no one to lead or guide me in putting on makeup, but it was awful. It was awful. I mean, obviously, yeah, if I were to practice and stuff like that, I could figure it out, even with my unsteady hands. But it's one of those, I'm not saying I was scarred by the experience, but a little bit. And so now I'm scared of it, terrified. Alyssa, thank you so much for sharing. And guys, thank you so much. Oh my God, thank you so much for sharing your experiences and all that here in the comments. That is so incredibly generous of you. And I'm so grateful that we are building this beautiful little community here where we feel safe and comfortable enough to share this kind of stuff. And I know that it's going to help some of us and help others to, have this kind of information and these experiences that, like we were talking about yesterday with the taboo topics, things that people just, like, for whatever reason, are not allowed to talk about, which is incredibly frustrating. Like they don't feel comfortable talking about it. Still taboo. And some things are going back to being even more taboo in the year 2025, which is ridiculous. So thank you for being part of this and being so generous with your own experiences and your own stories. So Alyssa says, I just have the crazy mood swings, starting to have night sweats. I'm so sorry. I had horrible periods, so glad that it's done. Yeah, I am so grateful to have that part of it done. The crazy heavy bleeding, the I was gonna say contractions because that's but the cramps, my God, I would just be on the floor curled into a ball. Just, It's almost gone, you guys. It's almost gone. Night sweats are no joke. I find that if I take my supplements, which we'll talk about in another Menopause Monday, if I take my supplements, that definitely helps, but is no guarantee, you know? Really, Holly? So you don't have the regular periods, but you'll still have heavy bleeds every so often from like the PCOS and the endometriosis. That's not something I was aware was a possible thing. And so thank you for sharing that. Purple with glitter. Renee, I'm always down for purple with glitter. Glitter, glitter, glitter. In fact, I have some glitter eyeshadow somewhere. I wonder if it's in here. I don't think it is. That I almost always wear when we're at Disney. I don't know where it is. I'll have to find it. Yeah, Renee, the getting more emotional. That's another of the things that I was going through this last time where that just, came up. Like I said, all kinds of emotional and anxiety and stress and depression, all of it. And wondering what is going on. Bonnie, you still have weird cravings and super grouchy days at least once a month. Okay, so then I have to ask, and you only tell what you're comfortable with sharing, but so are you all the way done with menopause, or are you still in the process, or do you know? And then that's the other thing. How do you know? How do you know if you're there yet? I was under the delusion, absolute delusion, that once you had forced menopause, full hysterectomy, that's it. You're done. And I didn't have more information than that. Did I ask enough questions? No. Was enough information shared? Absolutely not by any of my doctors or my surgeon. I didn't know. I'm really wishing I would have done my eyebrows now. But I don't have anything to do it with. I'm not going to do it with the eyeliner because that will be too dark. Even for on film with lights, it'll be too dark. That's the other thing. That stuff that I was using before, I really liked it, but I do think it was too dark. It was a good color for on camera, but I need to get that again and then maybe a lighter color for regular life so I don't look like, anyway. So yeah, how do you know you're there? You're done. It's over. How do you know? Because like I said, I thought we were there. I thought, okay, I'm done. It's over. Whee! Yay! I was wrong. Oh, Jesus, God, Melinda. Okay, one, thank you so much for sharing this absolutely horrific, ridiculously, oh God, I'm angry for you. I'm so angry for you because we are still dealing with this, having to fight for our health and well-being as women. I saw a TikTok because I was back on TikTok today after weeks of not being on there, of a woman talking about tampons and how she had accidentally bought, I think it was Tampax, or I don't remember, but anyway, and talking about how they were designed by men and they were only tested with blood a few years ago. I'm going to have to, you know what? Because I am going to start doing some reaction videos to TikToks that relate to what we're talking about. And so I'm gonna have to record that one, pull it up, and we're gonna have to talk about it because, oh my God. And they were in the cardboard. Holy Jesus, the cardboard applicators. The only thing worse is no applicator, which apparently in Australia is the way it's done, as per the comments I read under that video. My mom had some of those. They were like the OB brand, where you just had to use, make sure your hands are really good and clean, because you just had to get that thing up in there with your digits and get it in place. God. I'm so sorry, Melinda, you had to go through that. I went into I don't know how much I want to go into this, because I still need some therapy. Effective therapy. I still need to process this. I had gone into an ER, one I will never go in again, because they screwed me over a couple of times. Same one that misdiagnosed my horribly broken foot, so that now I have a bionic foot. I went in with horrific pain in my back, in my stomach, and they treated me like I was looking for drugs. Me, the one that will only take that shit in the absolute worst 100 out of 10 pain scale. That was how they treated me, and I finally just left. I just left because of the way I was being treated. Two weeks later, I was scheduled for surgery and found that my guts, I had to have exploratory surgery and the rest of my female parts removed. All of my guts, all of my organs, all of my guts were adhesed together. They were stuck together, all of them. Good, it's waterproof. Not the mascara, but the other stuff, right? And I put on a lot of good eye primer. We get fucked over. If you're not screaming and crying enough, then you don't get taken seriously. If you're screaming and crying too much, you don't get taken seriously. Am I wrong? Have you experienced that? That's so good. What would I do without my coffee? I just don't know. Phyllis, no periods after 50? That's awesome. Yeah, Renee. Hey guys, do your Kegel exercises, whether or not you've given birth, but especially if you've given vaginal birth. Do your Kegel exercises. Do pelvic floor therapy. Look it up here on YouTube. There's a million videos of how to do pelvic floor therapy on your own, other than like the necessary invasive stuff that I had to go through, but that's different. But do your Kegel exercises. Guys, something we're going to talk about another time is bladder issues, my favorite panty liners, stuff like that, because yeah, we're talking about all of it here, all of it, because you should not have to go through these different things that we are talking about here and have no one to talk to about it, no one to warn you before you go into major surgery. You should not have to go into an ER and be treated like a drug addict because you are in the most horrific pain that you can imagine. You shouldn't have to go through that. We've sent people out into space for funsies, but we're still getting treated this way and have so little understanding, like an insanely little understanding of the human body as how it is for women. the female human body. Did you know that, I believe it was automobiles, you know, when they do like the crash test dummies and stuff, that forever and ever and ever, they only used dummies that represented the male body in doing those tests for a long ass time. Only male body dummies. Dummies. Like, are we even important? We give y'all life. I don't know. Oh, Kamala, you're not stupid for not noticing that. Stop that right now. Don't use that word. Not about yourself anyway. We can use it about a lot of other things and a lot of other people, but not about yourself for not realizing that. You were just living happy as a clam, not having that shit to deal with anymore. And that's wonderful. That's wonderful. My God, Renee. And that is a winter I don't want to live in. That you have to wear waterproof mascara or your lashes melt and freeze. My God. Really, Lab? Lab says, I still have all my parts, as you call it. Have not had a period in 12 years. Still have some pain if I do too much lifting or yard work. Did you ever have hot flashes? Night sweats? Hair loss? Skin problems? Dryness? Anywhere, including in the vagina. If you're willing to share any of that, you don't have to answer to any of it, but if you want to, please feel free to share. Phyllis, my mom didn't wear makeup until I was pretty much grown up. So yeah, I've mentioned that before. I had to learn how to wear it on my own, went through some interesting makeup situations, and mostly learned from magazines and friends. Interesting, Holly. Holly says, my partner will say to me, you have your period, and I explain that I don't, but I have bad mood swings, and he says I look pale, etc. So my body is still going through the cycle. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It is weird. Like I was saying, I hadn't. There were other things going on, like my hairline has receded. Basically, you can kind of see like this much of it has receded. Luckily, I started with a pretty like low forehead, so it's not like horrific, but I am to the point of starting to think about getting some bangs or something, and have started using like minoxidil to try to slow it down. Isn't it crazy that my hairline is receding, but I'm not going gray? 44 years old and I'm not going gray. I have, I think, 3 pieces of tinsel in there. Now, DNA, genetics, are a huge part of it. Of course they are. My mom didn't start going gray till in her 40s. I don't remember when, because she started coloring her hair pretty quick. As soon as she started seeing the grays, she started coloring it. So I don't know when it would have completely gone gray or salt and pepper or any of that. I have no idea. But what I do know is that I'm 44 and I'm the only person in my family that doesn't have gray hair. Not like full gray hair, but all of them have natural, like, salt and pepper in their hair to varying degrees. Like, I'm thinking of one brother in particular, 2 actually, who they have some, but not like a lot, but are also starting to have their hairline recede a little bit. And then others who have so much gray, but their hairline hasn't receded. Interesting. But definitely I am the last holdout of the naturally dark hair. And also, incidentally, my hair was not this dark until I was an adult. Like in my mid 20s, Don't ask me how, but it got darker. My hair got darker. I'm guessing it's a, a hormonal thing, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, weird. Also, I had started coloring my hair black in like my early 20s. And then when I stopped coloring it and let it grow out, that's when I found, oh, it's naturally darker now. Not that coloring it had anything to do with that. It just happened to coincide with the situation. Very strange. Really, Lab, you do lipstick and eyebrows every time you're going out. I've been talking to myself about that I should at least do my eyes, if I'm going to go out. Because I deserve to do that for myself. I am stuck, quite honestly. These are, the vestiges of a lifetime eating disorder that, and it's also why I'm going to go get my wedding ring resized. I'm going to take it over tomorrow and get that ordered. So long I've lived with when I lose the weight, for like a million things, new clothes, makeup, my ring, all of that. And I have finally said, fuck that, life is too short. And I'm not getting any younger. That's it. It's gone. Hey, Piglet. The hunt continues. I will find that coffee creamer and not have to bring it from freaking Seattle. Though I wouldn't mind being in Seattle again, especially right now in this heat. Anyhow, I'm not living that way anymore. I need to get dressed. I need to put my face on, which doesn't mean a million steps, just my eyes. Just put the eyes on. I love the way I look and the way I feel when I've done this little bit of eye makeup. I love it. I really need to do that for myself and stop that horrific late 80s, all of the 90s mindset that was like beat into us of you got to lose the weight first. Everything's an inspo. We're alive right now. And I don't think I will ever be a size 0 ever again in this life. And if I was, oh God, there'd be so much extra skin to get chopped off. So I am going to get my boobs done though at some point. Oh yeah. I have no problem with that. I'm going to get my boobs done and I'm going to get a neck lift. Like a that. I don't feel bad about that. Not at all. In like 5 or 10 years. Weight loss or no. Whether or not we've achieved that, I'm getting those done. So there. Lab liked eyeshadow growing up. It can be a lot of fun. Holly says, I was into dark, moody eyeshadows and lipstick. Black and very dark purple was my thing. I had very bright colors in my hair too. I graduated in 1999, so that should give you an idea of what I grew up in. And yeah, we went through the kind of semi-goth, but not quite goth phase of the really dark lipstick and really dark nail polish and whatever, some of that silliness, and lighting candles and doing pretend seances and Marilyn Manson and all of it. It was good times. Really, Bonnie? Interesting. She says, I don't think PMS ever goes away. I still have issues once a month. I had a hysterectomy years ago. Interesting. And isn't it interesting also how we we each have our own unique experience. Like there are lots of generalities and kind of averages, if you will, things that do tend to happen for the majority, right, of women. But those are generalities. Those are averages. When it comes down to the individual person, guess what? We're individual people, each in our own individual body, affected by assorted genetics and predispositions, lifestyles, body compositions, what have you. And so we're all going to be affected a little bit differently. Some are going to get the hot flashes and the night sweats. Some are going to get vaginal dryness. I'm so grateful I have not dealt with that. Everyone's going to get a different thing. The hairline receding. Some people end up with problems with their teeth. Some with vision things. Others, just all kinds of different consequences, different symptoms, different struggles, different torture that you'll deal with, whether with forced menopause or natural menopause. And I think that's why this is so valuable for us to be on here talking about this. And so I would hope, I would beg of you that you will share this, not just for my own selfish reasons, because of course I want to grow this channel, but also because I was so alone. I was so alone. And even if some of my homegirls had similar situations to what I was going through, they were never quite exactly the same. You know what I mean? Because everyone is so different and whatever. And I didn't always feel comfortable with all of them to talk about all the different things. And so even if like I had girlfriends that I was super comfortable with and could talk about anything, they might not have experienced what I was experiencing. So even though we had that comfortable relationship, they had no reference. So if you wanted to share this with other women out there, let them come into our circle of safety and comfort where we can talk about all this shit, I think it would be helpful. I really do. Rita, have you never had hot flashes at all? If so, awesome, lucky. Oh, been there and did that, Rita. The periods that would last for weeks. Horrific. And they mess with your life. It messes with your life. Phyllis, your doctor gave you some cream. That's fantastic. I hope that it worked well. 58 and hot flashes, Melinda. Oof. Phyllis, with the cream that they gave you for the hot flashes, where did you apply it? So for me, when I get the hot flashes, it's from about here up. The rest of my body, I don't really feel it. But from about here up, just fire. Fire coming from the inside, fire from the outside. Ugh. And then James will be like, why is the fan on and you have a blanket on? Hot flashes. Hot flashes. Jesus God, Holly, I have never heard of such a thing. Bleeding from your belly button? What the fuck? Have you had surgery? I don't know if you said that or not, I don't remember, but God, I hope you have. Pamela craved Fritos. Which kind? The chili or the regular? Alyssa, I have used several different kinds. The ones that I have right now are called amberine, something like that. But we will do a whole video or our live stream, most likely our live stream about the different supplements, but we'll stream the laptop as well so that we can look them up together and talk about them. But I will have some on hand to show you and talk about. the supplements. Interesting, Bonnie. So you still have your ovaries, no major problems like night sweats and cramps, just the minor issues. That's wonderful. I'm so glad. Lab, we deal with what we deal with. We live life. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's rough. But as I've mentioned, as I've said to you guys many times, I don't believe that it all happens for a reason. It's for a reason. No, that's bullshit. Sorry. In my opinion, no. No. But what we can do with the horrible things that we go through and our struggles and our whatever is we can try to help other people. And that is humanity. That is being human. With no expectation of any kind of reward in this life or the next or anything like that. Just be human, just to be human. Just to ease others' suffering because of the suffering you went through. That's a very human thing. So that's a big part of why we're doing this. Who knew that us godless heathens care about people? I haven't been told I'm going to hell in a while. That's been nice. Melinda, we should have, doesn't even have to be a Menopause Monday. It can be one of our other live streams because we're live streaming every damn day and we're doing pretty good at it. I'm pretty pleased with us, pretty happy about it. But we should have a like women's health horror stories live stream. We're doing that. Let me write it down. Hold on. Who sent this to me? One of you before over on the Frugal Family sent me this fabulous Mickey Mouse stationery set. Who was it? Thank you. Women's health horror stories. We are so doing that. We're so doing that. Bonnie says, I used a tampon once, never again. As it got stuck, had to go to the hospital to be removed. Okay. All right. Here we go. We're going into a very personal horror story. Don't have sex when you have a tampon in. Don't do it. Can it be done? Yes. Yes, it can. Can it go horribly wrong? Yes. Yes, it can. Can you end up with your partner having to help you dig it out of the cavity? Yes. Yes, you can. And gratefully, luckily, we'll never go through that again because I don't have a period anymore. And we're now going on 20 years married and have been through everything together. So we got through it. But yeah, as Bonnie said, she had to go to the hospital to have it removed. Could have ended up there myself, but hallelujah, we figured it out together and we got that sucker out of there. The fact that we were ever able to get intimate together again after that, wow. Wow. Be careful, ladies. Be careful out there. Thank you, Holly. I appreciate that. And that's the other thing that we have here is commiseration, empathy, comfort, support. It's a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing that we have here. Hi, Kathy. There you are. You take your nap, Kathy. You take your nap and you enjoy the hell out of it. Pamela, that's wonderful. I have a really good primary care doctor now. The one before him was good too. In fact, he saved my life. Like literally saved my life when I was giving birth to Mariah. He saved both of our lives. But he didn't always understand everything I was going through. Whereas the one I have now, he takes me 100% seriously on everything and helps walk me through it and find me the resources. And he has been amazing. My ER experiences, on the other hand, not so good. Not so good. Are you fucking kidding me, Holly? Ooh. I'm not up to it today because I'll have to prepare myself, and I 100% have alcoholic beverages at that time. I know we were going to today, but we went with the coffee instead because I'm going to be running errands this evening, in and out, coming and going. But we will prepare ourselves. We'll put a lot of disclaimers and a lot of all that, and we will have a very in-depth, very thorough discussion about miscarriage and pregnancy loss on one of these live streams. Would it make sense to have that on a Menopause Monday, or should that be on a different day? I kind of think that should be on a different day because that's its own thing completely out there. I mean, there are connections to menopause, obviously, where I'm talking about everything before and after and the female experience, but I think it should be a different day. I think it will. I think it'll be a different day. I think it'll be a different day. But yes, we will get some serious adult beverages going on. And as someone who has had 10 confirmed miscarriages myself, 10, almost all while on birth control, and lost a developed baby. Yeah, I will have to prepare for that. That's another that I still probably need some therapy for, but especially at this day and age. I saw another fucking TikTok. I don't want to go too much into it because, like I said, I will need to prepare and we'll need to have like trigger warnings and all that kind of thing. But this one Republican representative calling expectant mothers, pregnant people, oh God, I'm just going to say it and then we're going to change topics because it's too much. Calling us host bodies. Host bodies. What in the pregnant woman who was dead, whose body was kept alive, whose decaying body was kept alive for a 9-week-old pregnancy? What in the hell? Like, what? Host bodies. Machines, vessels, incubators. No, I'm not Julie. I was a host body. Not even mother. Host body. I don't know. Is that an attempt at political correctness? Because no one can define what a woman is anymore. Host body. Okay, if we're down to being a host body, then why don't we have reproductive rights anymore? If I'm hosting you, I can kick you out of my house whenever I want. But not out of my body. We'll do that on another day. That's going to be another day, and I'm going to be liquored up, possibly even some other substances, because that's going to be a tough one, especially in the year of our Lord, 2025, in the U.S. of America, formerly the land of the free and the home of the brave. Ah! 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 Must move on. Must. Oh, my heart is like. Oh, fuck. Be careful if you fuck, because you are now just a host body. Okay. All right. Okay. Renee made some blueberry muffins. I'm sure they are delicious. I see all of her pictures of food on Instagram and they all look amazing. And someday, if I may impose, someday when I finally get out to visit you all and we do like a meetup and stuff like that, that someday will happen, I hope you'll cook and bake for me. If I may be so crude as to ask and to impose. Liz, you still have one ovary? It very, very likely can come back. I don't even have ovaries anymore, and mine has come back. Yep. Hysterectomy, not hysterical? Where do you think hysterical came from? Yeah. Okay, funny story. All right, this is going to be fun. We're going to talk about sex toys for a minute. Hopefully this still gets monetized. I don't know. But do you know why they were invented? These stimulating gadgets for women? It's because doctors were getting arthritis in their hands because of treating hysterical women. Hysterical. They just weren't getting the right loving at home and were not getting satisfaction and were losing their minds because guess what? Women need pleasure too. And especially with the lives that they were living in Victorian times, they weren't getting nothing good. So then they were going to their doctors and it was a recognized condition, hysteria, and we'll do like a full in-depth video about it at some point or discussion, live stream. But yeah, they were hysterical and they needed some treatment. Will I get demonetized for this? I wonder. So they would go to their doctors and get manual relief. Manual relief from the doctor. And the doctors were ending up with like carpal tunnel and arthritis. So they invented I'm not kidding. Google it. Look it up if you don't believe me. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Because that's how those were invented. And you should have seen them. What they looked like. Jesus God. But once there was electricity and somewhere to plug something in, it saved the doctors. I'm serious. I am dead serious. Anyway. Lab, you were busy. When you were going through your night sweats and mood swings and all of that, being a caregiver to your mom and husband, my God. My mom is a caregiver now between her and her sister and their brother at times. And now finally a hospice nurse a couple times a week. They care for their aged parents. Actually, I'm going to go visit them tonight for a minute. Or longer. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Most likely longer because once I get somewhere and I start talking, I'm there forever. I know how that goes. But that has to be rough. Yeah, Renee, that rumor about Marilyn Manson taking out some of his ribs, I completely forgot about that. I do care about people, Lab. I care very much. Very, very much. Sometimes I really don't want to. But you are who you are, you know what I mean? I care. Absolutely, Melinda. Yes. Yes. The more women talk about their bodies, the more they find out they are not alone. Yeah, Lab agrees with you, and so do I. We need to talk about it. Please share. For selfish reasons, because I really want this to grow, this channel of ours, this community, but also because you should never have to be alone through this or think that you are different, you are weird, or even worse, to be alone and scared. I cannot believe how many girls, how many young, and I mean girls, because they're young, have to experience their period for the first time and not know what the hell is happening to them. And to be terrified because either they didn't have the chance for the maturation class, the sex education, or their parents opted them out, but didn't take the place of that and talk to them themselves because you don't talk about that. And it happens and they aren't prepared and they don't know what to do. And then mom or someone just drops a box of tampons or pads next to them and leaves. That happens. You don't believe me? That happens. That happens. Oh, Holly, don't you apologize. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it. Emotions are a beautiful thing. Is it difficult sometimes? Yes, of course it is. Of course it is. But we have to deal with them and we have to experience it. Otherwise, eventually, one day, guess what? If you don't deal with the stuff, it will deal with you. So don't apologize for that. Hi, Christina. I'm so glad you're here. We are having a fabulous conversation, Christina, about, well, a lot of women's stuff. Anyhow. Oh, and we also were able to enjoy the last of the Southern Butter Pecan because I finished enough of the yard work out front to be able to enjoy it. And it was delicious. Oh, Michelle, I get you. And hi, Michelle. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah. So many people go through that. And so my mom, even though I had found those like little OB tampons in her bathroom when I was like late teens, maybe even early 20s, she, as far as I had known, did not wear tampons and did not believe in tampons. Like, what, they don't exist? Didn't believe in the use of tampons and said, you know, they're a problem. People think you're going to get off using tampons. There are literally, it is amazing when you find out the shit that some people believe and then force on their children and others. But there are people who believe you're going to get off sexually, get gratification from using a tampon to absorb the blood flowing out of your vagina. That reminds me of riding horses. So why was there a side saddle? Sorry, we're just all kinds of trivia, random knowledge, just bringing into this thing. Side saddle. Why did women ride side saddle for so long? Same thing. Because it was too enjoyable. They were having too much fun, getting a little too giddy, riding a horse, having all that power between their legs. No wonder women were hysterical and had to go to the doctor to get taken care of. You couldn't even ride a damn horse because people were so perverted and thinking so much about your body and what's between your legs that you couldn't even ride a horse properly. God. And there are plenty of people out there that I know would still like it to be that way. Rita, I'm glad you're still here. Thank you so much. You're so wonderful. Did you guys know I got to meet Rita in person, finally, a few weeks ago in Oregon? We did. We finally met. And I know I still have not put those videos together or stuff like that. I know. I think part of me is like, it's the end of summer, and I think part of me is like waiting for school to start. There's like this thought in my head, kind of like how we used to do where it's, oh, I'll start a diet on Monday and all that bullshit. I think I'm stuck in this place that's like, I'll start doing da-da-da-da-da-da and get da-da-da-da-da done when the kids are back in school. I'm going to fix that. I am going to fix that. We're not going to keep thinking that way. So what if we make an agreement, a commitment right here and right now? Tomorrow, I'm editing. We'll live stream too, because we're live streaming every day. And it's so much fun, and I'm so grateful for you guys, and I'm enjoying this immensely. And welcome to any new friends of the channel. You are my obsession, and I am so happy to have you here. But anyhow, let's make a promise that tomorrow I will edit. I will set a timer, 2 hours. 2 hours, I will sit right here and I will edit videos and get them posted. We're doing it. Oh, Rita, I'm so glad. I had so much fun with you and Rick. It was delightful. You were so generous and kind to bring me into your home and show me your treasures. And we talked about plants and we had the most wonderful time. I'm grateful for that. I'm glad we finally got to make it happen. Melinda, you heard about the Harley Davidsons? Hey, anything rumbly tumbly is gonna, you know, I mean, is it true that it was getting women off or giving them pleasure? Probably. The vibration, the whatever, sure. The I don't know if stigma is the word, but the repression and the madness surrounding it is what I find so ridiculous. Why there are people who feel so desperately the need to manage other people's bodies, other people's sexuality, what people are doing in their bedrooms as consenting adults with their partners. It's bizarre to me that people are so obsessed. Like, you guys know, I'm out of religion now, and I mean no offense to anyone who is religious and that's, you know, their comfort and their life and what have you. But my experience is that the people most obsessed with sex and anything related to that are religious. Why is that? Why the obsession? I don't know. I don't know. Someone that I love, someone close to me, a man who also used to be Mormon, LDS, told me that when he was like 12 or 13, a 12-year-old or 13 little boy, in a one-on-one meeting with his bishop, that's the minister, the parson, the cleric, whatever, in the Mormon church, they didn't used to be allowed to have anyone else in these interviews, they were called, where you would do your confessions and talk things out and all that nonsense. Now, because of so much backlash and because of so many things that have happened and often went unreported or suppressed, now you're allowed to have like a parental figure or someone else in there with you. But anyway, so alone with a little 12 or 13-year-old boy, this bishop who may have been a plumber, an architect, lawn care, who knows what he did. Obviously no like actual training, no going to a seminary or a college for it. No training as a social worker, a counselor. No, just some random guy who's your neighbor and is now ordained by the Mormon God. Sorry, going off a little bit here, to meet with you privately and discuss everything about your life and even your body. All that to say, asked alone in a little tiny room, this boy, how many times a week did he masturbate? This little boy didn't even know what that meant. And is asked by this, 30, 40-year-old man, can you even? Can you imagine? Can you even? Sorry, that's so off the topic of menopause and whatever, but sometimes things pop up and I just have to deal with them. And we're doing that together. And you guys are so great. Oh, Bonnie, that makes me so happy. That makes me so happy. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, lab. Sad, isn't it? Isn't that just... Okay, so now imagine little girls in there. Now being out of it and away from it, I absolutely know it's a cult. I'm not saying all religions are cults. That's not the truth. Um, that's not the truth. Uh, but what I was in was a worldwide accepted mainstream cult. And I still have loads of family that are in it, and I love them and respect them. I just need them to keep their stuff away from us. That's all. That's all I ask. Keep it away from me. Don't try to enforce it on me anymore. And most of them don't anymore, which is wonderful. But yeah, sorry, this is so off topic, and someday we'll just have like a straight up, have the whole live stream based on my life as a Mormon, which I was born and raised in it and lived it until I was in my mid to late 30s. Yeah. So I told you, 12 or 13-year-old boy having that kind of interview with this grown-ass man that has no training. Now imagine being an 8-year-old girl sitting in there alone with him because you want to get baptized. You get baptized at 8 years old in the Mormon church. 8 years old. And you have to have an interview one-on-one before you get baptized. Yeah. Can you imagine in your teens or even 20s sitting in there with this grown-ass man having to give all the details of your sexual experiences? Did he touch your boobs? Was his mouth on your breasts? What'd you do to him? Stuff I gotta process. I have so much that I need to process. Oh, you did this, and that? Okay, how long did it go on? Did he touch between your legs? Was it over your clothes or under your clothes? And then after you tell him all this stuff that you've done and you're made to feel pretty awful, then when you show up for church next Sunday and they pass the sacrament around, the body of Christ, the blood of Christ, except it's water in little tiny plastic cups, you're not allowed to partake of any of it. And everyone around you sees, and believe me, they notice when you don't take it because you're no longer worthy, because some guy had his face in your breasts that you got to tell your bishop about. And until you work through it and meet with him regularly, you don't get to take the sacrament in front of everybody, including your family that you're sitting on the bench with. Yeah. Sorry, but we are well over our hour. And I like to stay on topic as best as possible, committed as best as possible for an hour. After that, it's all up in the air. Who knows where we're going to end up? We're going to end up in a Mormon bishop's office talking about boobies. Yeah, we are so going to do this. I'm going to write this down. We are so going to have a live stream, and there will be warnings for our still Mormon friends that I love and adore and respect and I'm grateful for. And there will be warnings that, hey, this is not the conversation for you. It might even not work for some religious folk, but just understand that it will be focused most especially on my experience in the LDS Mormon religion. Will there be some overlap with other religions and whatnot? Yeah, probably. So enter at your own risk. Hopefully we can talk and discuss and still respect each other and still be friends. I would certainly hope so. But I think it's a really good idea to be able to have that kind of discussion in this safe place, this community. I'm going to write it down. My life as a Mormon, where we can just go into it and talk about all of it, the whole thing. Bruderhorf. What does that mean? Is that their name? Or is that, what is that, Holly? And which kind of Mormons are there? So there's, okay, so yeah, we're changing gears here. Sorry, guys. But there's the mainstream Mormon religion. And then there's like, I think something like 75 offshoots of it that all use the Book of Mormon, the same like scripture, but have their own different practices, and some that are still polygamous, whereas in the mainstream Mormon church, you're not polygamous except in the afterlife. But there are many others that are definitely even more cultish and are small communities and whatever, and still have polygamy, still practice that, and do all kinds of other things, child brides and crazy stuff like that, like Warren Jeffs kind of stuff. Yeah. Wild. I will say, and this is so important, and I will stress this in the dedicated live stream, and I will stress it now. I still have so much love for Mormon people. A great deal of my family are still active members and believers, and I respect that. And I still have so much gratitude for different times in my life when church funded programs, although honestly, I mean, we were paying tithing too, so we were all funding it, but where church members or church programs stepped up and stepped in and saved my bacon, helped my family, lifted us, carried us, supported us. I will forever be grateful for that. For instance, I had this wonderful bishop, who actually is my neighbor. I'm not going to mention names, but he knows who he is, and I still call him Bishop whenever I see him. Wonderful, beautiful man. Now, did I have to talk about like enjoying pornography with your spouse and all kinds of crazy shit with him? Awkward, really weird stuff. But anyhow, yeah, you got to talk about stuff like that with your bishop, even if, they have no training in talking about any of that, and it's none of their goddamn business. But anyhow, you want to stay worthy. So, but what I will say, so incredibly grateful that when my sweet Mimi, my Mariah, at 9 months old, went into respiratory arrest, she had a very severe case of RSV. We were in the hospital, in the intensive care for a week, a little over a week with her. And during that time, I also found out that my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 terminal prostate cancer. I had left a message on my bishop's phone, answering machine. He had been out of town. And the minute that he got home from a family vacation and heard that message, came running to my house and spent hours with us, consoling, comforting, ministering. Which only further reiterates a belief that I have, that regardless of what religion you're in or cult or whatever, if you're good people, you'll be good people wherever you are, whatever you're involved in, whatever your belief system, you will be good people because you're a good person. If you need a religion, any particular God, any particular scripture to tell you not to rape and murder and steal and all of that in order to not rape and steal and murder, then you're not a good person. If the only thing holding you back from getting it on with your neighbor's wife is the fear of repercussions in the next life, you're not a good person. If the only thing holding you back from murdering your own wife is the fear of hell, you're not a good person. If the only thing holding you back is you walk down a dark street and see a good-looking woman, the only thing holding you back from attacking and raping her is the fear of hell and damnation, you're not a good person. Fight with me on that one. Do it. I've had people fight with me on that belief. Isn't that wild? Anyway. Oh, Holly, so that community is, the community is named Bruderhof of Darwell. I'm going to look it up. I will absolutely look it up. That is interesting. Pamela, I hear you. Pamela says, I have faith in God, but none whatsoever in any church. And I'm with you. I don't think you need an organized religion to have faith, to have spirituality, to have whatever it is that you have. For me, when I go into the mountains, when I am in the woods, I feel something so beautiful and so so precious that it at least meets, if not exceeds, what I felt in the Mormon temples in the celestial room where you were supposed to be right there with God. I have felt things just as beautiful, if not more, next to a lake, high in the mountains, in the trees. This hike that I went on in Portland a couple weeks ago to the witch's castle. Beautiful, precious, spiritual, if you want to call it that, whatever, the divine. And I didn't have to pay anyone for it or confess my sins to anyone for it or check a bunch of boxes of doing this, and this, and talk about my sex life to my untrained neighbor in a 8x10 room. Yeah. I get a little heated about that. Yeah. It's 5:45. We're doing all right. 55% left on our battery. We're doing pretty damn good. Do you know how cool it is? It is so cool. I'm so amazed and I'm so grateful that I can talk about all this, that I can share all this, that you may or may not agree with, or maybe partially, or maybe because, like, for instance, how Pamela has faith in God, but none whatsoever in any church. I don't have a God in my life. I did until my mid to late 30s, and now I don't. Now I have humanity, my love of humans, my love of this earth that I live on, my love of animals, my love of nature, my overwhelming desire to leave things better than I found them, my overwhelming desire to protect children and to help the elderly and to clean up garbage when I see it. That's what I have. Call it whatever you want to call it, but that's what I have now. And we can talk about that. And we can disagree on things, and we can have different sources of comfort and different ideologies and whatever, and still be here and like each other and love each other and want to share in each other's lives and contribute and comfort. I feel so freaking lucky for that, because you don't get that everywhere. You don't get that everywhere and with everyone. There are things, even with loved ones, that are this is part of why I don't wear makeup regularly, because you never know when it's going to hit. I can't have this kind of conversation with some of my closest loved ones. I don't know about you, but I can't. There are a few, a very select few, that I can talk about all of this with, or 50% of it, or 75% of it, or whatever. But there are more that I can't than there are that I can. And that's hard. It's difficult. But right here with you, yes, you that is still here with me, watching me, listening, contributing, being part of this community, being part of me, you allow me to be me and to be real and to be authentic and to say whatever is coming into my crazy head and heart. And it means so much. That is so priceless. And I hope I can be buffering. Thank you for being that person for me. I truly hope I can be that for you as well. Truly. Oh, Holly, that is so... Oh, Holly! Holly! Thank you. And I'm so glad that this is a good place for you. Lab, I agree. There are some things better not shared with family. And isn't that weird? And isn't that strange? And isn't that even sad in some ways? Because they're your blood. They're your closest, you know? And yet there are times and things and topics and experiences and situations that, no, you can't share. And sometimes all you can do is talk about gardening and do puzzles, and sometimes that's the way it has to be. And that's unfortunate, but sometimes that's just the way it has to be. Pamela, we can be our true selves and not be afraid of judgment. Pamela, I hope so much that you feel that here. I hope so much that you feel that here. There is so little that you can do or be or believe that is going to turn me away. I hope you're not out there murdering people. But if you are, I mean, I hope you have a really good reason. So. Oh, Rita, thank you. I'm so glad. And I love having you here, and I loved meeting you, and I love that you've been so patient with me. I don't even have tissues in here. Yes, I do. They're not good ones, but I do. I do have tissues in here. Ha ha. We don't want to risk messing up the makeup. Yeah, those are not good tissues. You're killing me. You're killing me. I was so sad that we lost the van, Old Gray. So sad. Because it threw off everything in my life. Everything I had planned, everything that I had been working toward and making happen. But if that hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have jumped in so much into this. I wouldn't have. I know it. It was just like the catalyst that apparently I needed to be able to finally commit myself to this. And it has meant so much to me and been so important to me. And especially as I navigate where we're going and what we're doing with the main channel. It has meant so much to me to have this support and to have a place where I can talk about all this, anything and everything and all of it. And we have this little community, or as Lab and Melinda say, this little family. I don't know how many people get to have something like this, you know. It's really, I'm so lucky. I'm so fortunate. I know I've told some of this before. I'm not a shy person, but I was. Not so much, maybe it wasn't so much shy, it was more self-conscious. So for instance, these are some silly things, and I know I've talked about them in the past, but we have some new friends, and so we'll talk about it again. I used to practice smiling smaller and laughing quieter. These were things that I worked on. I tried so hard to make my smile smaller because it was just too damn big and took up my whole face. You can't even see my eyes. And to laugh quieter because I didn't want to be annoying, and I thought I would be more accepted if I did whatever, these things. Change these things about myself. I was incredibly self-conscious. Self-conscious of my feet, the size of them. They're short and wide. Self-conscious of my legs. These are thick, thick mountain climbing, you know, the moors of Scotland kind of legs. I was so self-conscious of them. I wouldn't even wear shorts to school on the hottest days until like finally in like 5th grade. I did wear them once because we were having like a water party at the end of the year. But I never wore shorts like in high school or any of that because I didn't like them. I didn't like my stomach and the way my abdomen is built, even though it has run in my family, in the women in my family for years and years and years, and is part of who we are. All of these things about myself, about me, that I've tried to make smaller, quieter, whatever, take up less space. An eating disorder that I dealt with from the age of 16, though honestly, it started developing when I was like 3 years old. All these things, nearly dying to try and be acceptable, liked, wanted. I don't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore. I don't live like that anymore. Or do I still have some vanity and some, you know, like I said, I'm going to get my boobs lifted. I'm going to get my neck lifted. There's things I'm going to do at some point, maybe in like 5 years, because I want to do those for me. Is there also some vanity to it and some, you know, remnants of being self-conscious? Yeah. I will deal mentally with an eating disorder and body dysmorphia and all those things till the day I die. I'm 44 and it hasn't let up. It is in my brain every day. I don't act on it now, hallelujah, but it is in my brain. And so are there things like that? Yeah, of course. But trying to smile smaller, laugh quieter, don't talk so loud, don't talk so fast, this, and then all the physical stuff. No. I don't live like that anymore. Now, part of that that I'm very grateful for is a long-term relationship with a loving man who still wants me all the time and thinks I'm delicious. Fabulous. That helps a lot, certainly. But it's also that I just don't want to deal with that anymore. And I like the way I laugh. And I like my big, huge smile that makes it look like I don't have a top lip and you can't see my eyes and I look like a chipmunk. I don't care. That's me. And if you're on the God side and say, well, that's the way God made you, great. You can be on that side and say that, and I'm with you 100%. And then if you're on the side that's like, well, that's the way I evolved, the way I was born, and all the genetics and things that came down from the generations and generations of women and men and all that in my family that came down through time to be this, I'm with you 100% on that too. And I don't want to dishonor the family that made me this way, or for those with God, the God that made me this way, or whatever. I don't want to dishonor that by trying to be someone that I'm not. I spent way too many years, way too much time, way too much pain, too much crying, too much money, too much whatever, too much suffering in the heat, wearing pants because I didn't want people to see my legs. Jesus, God. Life is too short, guys. It's just way too short for that. Oh, Bonnie, how awful. Bonnie says, I told my sister something, hoping for help. She wouldn't speak to me for a long time. Melinda, oh, I'm with you. Melinda says, my mom told me I'm a cold-hearted bitch because I'm too honest and don't sugarcoat things. People want to live with rose-colored glasses. People don't want to have to live with truth and reality. I'm sorry you went through that. I'm so sorry. Holly, thank you for that. Thank you for letting me be me. It means everything. Michelle, oh my God. I was told I should be seen and not heard growing up. It backfired. Good for you. Good for you. Because that is nonsense. Holly, oh, Holly, Holly. But the moors of Scotland are beautiful, and so are you. Holly, thank you for that. Someday, I am going to employ these legs and bring my Scottish ancestors to the moors with me, and I'm going to climb, and I'm going to do all of it. Someday. Lab, thank you for loving my smile. Thank you for that. I love it too now. I do. I didn't, but I do now. How are my kids, Rita? Oh, my kids. They're so wonderful. A little bit ago, they were up there having a kerfuffle. Reagan and Mimi, they're teenagers. I actually think they were arguing about the kitty cat. I don't know why. I don't know. They're good. Lulu's at work. She's doing great. Working on saving for a car. And, oh, Rita, thank you for that. Thank you so much. I have learned to love me the way that I am. Do I still have issues and struggles? Every day. Every day. That's not going to stop. But what I can do and what I am doing and working on doing is fighting back. I will have that voice in my head that in treatment and in hospitalization and therapy, I came to call Ed. That's what we all did, all of us girls that were in the treatment center, which obviously is just eating disorder, but we called it Ed. And it often was masculine, this masculine voice in your head. I fight back against that every day. And do I always win? No. Sometimes it gets the better of me and says, but look at those rolls and that skin and those sags and the, all the this and the da-da-da-da-da. And it does that every day, especially when it's time to take a shower. It fights with me every day and tries to bring me down. And I just keep fighting. And honestly, I mean, that's all we can do is keep fighting. Oh, Rita, I know you wanted to meet Lulu, and I'm sorry. She's a grown woman now. She makes her own choices, and her choice was to go with her best friend to the Powell City of Books. Yeah. And um, she's not a social person. She, yeah, she's not a social person. She deals with um, some mental health struggles and autism. Did you know that? I don't know if I told you guys that my Olivia is autistic. I don't know if you knew that. She's an adult now, so now I can say that. I don't go too much into her struggles because adult or not, those are her those are her struggles and her, private business. But it is also my story as her mother and navigating it for now 19 years and learning as we go. And I know there are things that I can share as my part of the story within reason and within her comfort level that I know could help other parents out there, But she is not one that wants to meet strangers, that wants to meet new people. She struggles greatly with that and is uncomfortable, and so I don't push. I don't push anymore because yeah, I've learned. She is a beautiful girl, Rita, and I do hope that you can meet her someday because she is a fabulous, amazing, wonderful person to know and to have in your life, and I'm so grateful. We've had so many challenges together, but we've also had just the most beautiful, wonderful experiences, and we've gotten through a lot together, and we've learned a lot together. Yeah, she's wonderful. She's so wonderful, and I'm so grateful to have her, and to have her alive and grown up and with us, and to see her making her own way, paving her own trail through life is just an absolute gift. Yeah. So this has been a really good conversation, you guys. A really good thing we've had here. Yeah, Lab, I feel you. Mirrors can be difficult. Mirrors can be really difficult. Yeah. And I know I'm not alone in this. I think back to the body I had that I was so self-conscious about, and how much I would love to be living in that body again. We just don't understand. We don't understand what we have until it's gone. We don't understand what we'll be grateful for. We don't understand that we don't have to conform. We don't have to be pleasing. We don't have to fight with other women for any man or any woman. The right person, and I know that relationships and wanting to attract people and stuff like that is a huge part of all these insecurities and things that are beaten into us through media and indoctrination and upbringing and all of that. But the right person for you will take you for all that you are. Will there be struggles? Of course. We're real life. We're real people. You'll have struggles. But they will accept you and love you for who you are if they are the right person. And I honestly believe it is better to be with no one in a relationship than to be with someone who does not accept you and love you for who you are. And you do that for them as well. Yeah. I've learned that. We learn a lot as we age, if we're lucky enough to age, even though aging is so hard for me. God, it's so hard for me. But I do also realize what a gift it is and how lucky I am to be aging, Oh, Holly, thank you for that. And I'm so proud of my Lulu. And do we still have struggles? Of course we do. We're two headstrong women living in the same house. I adore her. I adore her so much. I so often think about the things I didn't do and that I should have done and what I could have done better, and God, it's so hard for the oldest child. The oldest child is your training ground, and you learn with them and they learn with you, and you make so many mistakes that I will regret forever and ever, that I didn't do more of this or more of that. I wasn't supportive enough of this. I didn't give enough physical affection, or I whatever, didn't show up for this or that. I don't know, all those things while dealing with whatever you yourself were dealing with. I mean, for instance, I was in a lockdown facility for my eating disorder while pregnant with Olivia, because my body was struggling to support her growth in my pregnancy, and I nearly had a heart attack because of refeeding syndrome. I had to check myself in to a facility, or my doctor was going to pink slip me and have the court force me into a facility. So I struggled greatly being a mom. And it wasn't just the eating disorder. There were so many other factors and things in my life that I had no control of. Family things and a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. And all those things, obviously, of course, bled into my life as a mother, and my lack and my ability to be a mother, and to, and I do find myself often trying to make up for shortcomings and things that I did as a young mother. And we never can relive those years or redo those years. And God, so much I wish I could, and do better at this or that, change this or that situation. And I wish so much. And I know we all do. We all have regrets, and there's no handbook on how to be a parent, and no training on how to be a parent. You can take classes, you can whatever, but there's nothing that actually prepares you for being a parent except actually parenting. And you will not be perfect. I don't care how much you plan and what's on your Pinterest board. You're not going to be a perfect parent. And your child will need therapy. It's almost guaranteed. Your child will need therapy. Whether because of you or life or whatever, you're going to do stuff that they're going to talk to a therapist or a partner or a friend or a dog about. I think you just have to accept that. And then do your best, I do know, and I'm happy to be able to say that I am a really good mother now. I am a much better mother now than I was, say, 15 years ago. I am a much better mother now. Because of experience, because of life. Yeah. We become this much better mother, ideally, this much better mother when our kids are nearly grown. Yeah. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. And that's something I'm still working on accepting, and working on forgiving myself for my shortcomings. And instead of just being sad about what I didn't do or should have done, to just now do better and be better from here on out as a mother. It's tricky. It is tricky. Just do the best that you can. And speaking of that, I need to go get stuff going for my kids. It's just after 6 o'clock here in Utah, and we got things we got to do and errands to run and stuff like that. So I got to go. But we will get together again tomorrow. I don't know yet what we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about some stuff, and we're going to you and me. We're going to you and me tomorrow. So please stay tuned, have your bell notification things on, and pay attention to the community posts, because I will do my darndest to let you know when we're going to get together and possibly what we're going to talk about. So, Holly, go to bed. Go to bed. Thank you all so much for being here and being part of this little community that we have. Thanks for being part of my life. I am so grateful for each of you, and I wish you well, and I wish you the best things, and I wish you love with other people, but also, most importantly, love for yourself. I wish that for you, and I continue working on that for me. Anyway, have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow at some point. I don't know when, but I will see you tomorrow. Okay? All right. Bye-bye.